What's going on, game players? What a day. What a special day here in Baltimore, Maryland. The Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson, has finally made it past the first round in the playoffs. God dog, special day against the Tennessee Titans. And at the end of the game, did you see the way that we danced on the logo? Shout out to the Ravens, man. I am your host, Kiaun Mitchell, and I want to welcome you guys to Listener Feedback, episode number 12. And I gotta say, we have not done this in quite some time, but we are going to get into it, and this is going to be a long show. I believe we have 13 emails to go over. So what we're going to do is, like we do it every single week, we're going to start from the latest emails and work our way up into the newest emails, from old to new. And since it's been roughly about a month since I have done this, yeah, we are quite backed up. Now, if you, the listener, though, that are listening right now, want to be a part of the next Listener Feedback podcast, you can do it two different ways. You can either call in at 443-216-9934 and let your voice be heard. Or you can email the show, and the email address is the Analog Circle Podcast at gmail.com. We have one heck of a roster here this week. We have Mr. One Subset Tekken. Brother, this episode is probably just gonna be starring you for the most part. Shout out to you for writing in. Mr. Cody Clark has also written in. Mr. Sir William X. Oh, brother, I don't know how you feeling right now, but it can't be good. But shout out to you. He wrote in as well. And to top it off, Mr. Crimson Phoenix also wrote in. So I want to thank you guys, give you guys a round of applause in advance for writing in. So we are going to get things started with one of many emails from Mr. One Subset Tech. And now this email is dated all the way back to December 10th, 2020. So yes, literally a month ago. And I do want to say this too, guys. This is not going to be uploaded on time because Comcast, those mother lovers, Comcast doesn't give two craps about what you're doing, about what your service, what's happening with your service. Here it is. Our service has been being pirated, and these jokers won't even come out to remedy the situation. Someone is illegally stealing cable from us, and Comcast does nothing about it. That's how much they care. But I guess when you have a monopoly on the city of Baltimore and your only competition is god doggone Dish, I guess these are the results that you get. Anyway, let's get into these emails, because I'm so glad that you guys have written in. This is your show. Without you guys writing in, this show does not exist. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the first email from Mr. One Subset Tech. And I believe you got a couple of these, in order. So this is your first one. Now, the title of this one is called Massively Awarding. And he says, hello, Kiaun. I wanted to get this out before the Video Game Awards came out because I don't agree with the list for Game of the Year. Especially that Final Fantasy VII Remake is on it. I mean, we know it didn't win, but we're going to keep on going. He says, don't get me wrong, I like that game. Some of the mechanics of the game are different, but still in all, it's a good game. that I haven't finished yet. Yeah, brother, I haven't even cracked the wrapper on mine, to be fair. He says, not worth making the list of Game of the Year. It's a remake. It's a 1997 game with a fresh coat of graphical paint. If that's the case, when the Mass Effect trilogy comes out next year, let's make it a contender for the same award. I just feel that remakes shouldn't be considered for Game of the Year. They should have another award separate for remakes. That's just my opinion. First off, brother, you know me, brother. One Subset Tech, and I'ma always respect your opinion, brother. That comes first. And thank you for this, and I'm gonna continue reading your email, but since it's so much, and you guys know that my memory isn't great, I gotta break it down section by section, brother. So I would say that I understand what you mean by that. You know, having a separate category for Game of the Year candidates that are remakes or not remasters, but remakes, you know, that I could see where that could be something, but when you look at Final Fantasy VII Remake, brother, this is just a little bit of a one-off shoot from the original Final Fantasy VII. You have voice acting in this game. You have amazing cutscenes. The gameplay is totally different. It's a full rehash of the Final Fantasy VII game. It's a total rehaul. So I understand what you mean, brother, but I have to respectfully, and I do say this with the utmost respect, One Subset, I have to disagree, brother. This game, even though we know it didn't win, I think it deserved to be in the conversation. Just like Resident Evil 2 remake, when that was up for Game of the Year, they did so many things that were different, that brought that game up to current times, that I think it should have been celebrated as a Game of the Year contender. And once again, now, if it had won, maybe it could be a bit of a different, conversation. If it won, I don't even think people would have cared if it won, because it was such a good game. Now, granted, I have not opened the wrapper, so I cannot fully speak on Final Fantasy VII, but would I have played the remake, of course, but would I have played of it? God dog, I mean, man, look, listen, man, I might have put about 45 minutes into it, maybe an hour. I know that's not enough time to fully break down the whole game, but overall, just the different changes that they did, One Subset, I think it deserved to be in at least bare minimum the conversation of Game of the Year, what those guys were able to do. I mean, when you look at that game and you think back to Advent Children, which was like a unrealistic at the time benchmark for a game to ever look like that, and you look at Final Fantasy VII Remake, and then taking it back to even the PlayStation 3 when they did that tech demo of Final Fantasy VII Remake, and you saw Cloud and you saw Aerith, I never get her name right, but seeing her with those flowers, you go back to that trailer, and then you compare it to the game that came out last year on the PS4, it is a huge difference. It looks so much better on the 4. So just from a technical achievement level, I think those guys deserve that nod, One Subset Tekken, with all due respect, brother. But let me continue with your email. He says, Hades, on the other hand, I have no clue of what that game is or what's going on with it. I agree with that. He says, I do not know. I do know it's on the Nintendo Switch and PC. That's about all. Yeah, me too. Man, let me tell you something. I felt like Ori and the Will of the Wisp. That game got absolutely robbed with this game being in the running. I think that Will of the Wisp was a much better game. Now, to be fair, again, I have not played this game, but to me, just looking at it, maybe the gameplay was just something just amazing in Hades. But for me, Ori played extremely well, and it looked I mean, amazing. So I thought that, Ori got snubbed by that game, but let me continue on, brother. He says, let me see, a Nintendo Switch PC. That's about all. He says, I really wish that I'd have an option about it, oh man, brother, I can't make this out, brother. But he says, I'm gonna just move on to the next sentence. He says, Ghost of Tsushima is well deserved of its place. I love this game, but it down to play. Oh, I put it down to play The Last of Us Part 2. I need to return to it before the end of the year. Last of Us Part 2, which I did finish, was a very great gaming experience. Brother, it was my game of the generation. He says, I hope to get a second playthrough sometime soon. Doom Eternal was a great game by far. It's a first-person shooter's dream. I was surprised it made the list. Yeah, me too. I was pretty shocked it did too. It was a solid game. I didn't finish it. Got pretty far into it, a couple of hours. Great gameplay. A little different too, because it kind of goes off of the momentum of how you're performing, so you can get your health packs and all of that stuff. Very, very good game though. He says, do I think it will win? No. But it's a good addition to the list. Yeah, it didn't win. We all know that, unfortunately. No, not unfortunately. The Last of Us Part 2 should have won. The better game won. And I was so happy about that. But let me continue with your email. He says, making it more well-rounded. Animal Crossing is worth its space for Game of the Year. Nintendo has outdone themselves. Man, brother, what? Hey, what's up, second brother? Did you say Animal Crossing is worth the space for Game of the Year? Oh, man, brother. Listen, once again, y'all are gonna hear a constant theme with this one. I did not play Animal Crossing, so I'm gonna humbly, my good brother, Mr. What's Up, said, I'm gonna say, you know what, NA on that one. Not applicable because I didn't play it. I'm gonna take your word for it, but no, in my personal opinion, I do not think that game should have made it. It sold like gangbusters. We know it did, One Subset, but oh man, just not my kind of game. But it's definitely, obviously, someone else's kind of game, because the game did absolutely marvelous with sales. But let me continue with your email here, brother. He says, Game of the Year, Nintendo has outdone themselves. I don't play it much, but from what I see and the fact that the game has sold so much worldwide, it has made Nintendo a mint of money. It's a very deep game once you really get into it. Oh, man, brother. You know what? Maybe it's just the aesthetic that's throwing me off, One Subset, because I'm looking at this game and I'm like, man, I do not see the fun in this. I don't see the fun under the sun with this one, brother. But I'm going to continue with your email. He says, let's see, okay. All games have their pros and cons. Nintendo should win this award. Oh, man, are you serious? You thought they should have won? Oh, What's up, Sam? God dog it, brother. You my dude, man, but God dog it, man. He says, let me see, that's just my opinion. I'm done. And you know what? Once again, What's Up said, I respect your opinion, brother. He says, let's see. The Last of Us Part 2, I must have skipped something. Pros and cons, and Nintendo should win this award. If not losing to The Last of Us Part 2, yeah. That's just my opinion. I'm done. Wash your hands, wash your butt and face. Not in that order. And please wear a mask. Be safe, gamers. From out of Sebring, Florida. Brother, you must have, this brother has a summer home. I'm just putting that out there. I mean, One Subset has not told me this, but this brother is in Sebring, Florida quite a bit. This brother got a summer home, man. But no, One Subset. Oh, and he says, let me finish it off. In Sebring, Florida, just enjoy the warm weather. Peace. Man, brother, I appreciated this email, man. It was great to hear from you. And I got a couple more here, so I'm not going to waste any more time. I'm going to jump into your second email, which is entitled, Did You Like? He says, hello, Kiaun. Hope all is good. I'm writing this watching the Video Game Awards. And before I say anything, okay, What kind of sneakers, oh man, does Jeff Keighley have on? I don't know whether I should be excited to see those sneakers or should I just laugh at the oversizedness. This brother said oversizedness of the sneakers itself. I don't know. He says, okay. That being said, I am truly glad that Vin Diesel has a game out soon, Arc 2. Was being worked on over 5 years ago. I did not know that. He says, I don't know if this was the game that he was to be a part of, but I'm glad it's finally out, even though I am not an Arc fan. Yeah, me neither at all. Yeah, I'm the same way. He says, it's a good game, even though it's not my taste. So how is everyone enjoying? Oh yeah, this is before all of the rigmarole came out about Cyberpunk. But he says, so how is everyone enjoying Cyberpunk? Is it all that it's hyped to be? Is everyone locked in this game? Not showering, playing for hours, sitting on a 5-gallon drum? Oh, I see what that was about. Man, brother said you just sitting there just handling your business, not even having a move on a 5-gallon drum. God, dog, you something else, brother. He says, I'm asking because I'm in Florida. Once again, his brother's at his summer home, man. He at his summer home in Florida. He says, I'm asking because I'm in Florida. I made plans to spend some time down here before the game delay. My copy is waiting for me when I return to North Carolina. Is this game worth all the hype? The bar was set high by their own hands. I can say from watching the award show, there's a lot of new games. Yes, it is, brother. It's going to be a crazy year. He says a lot of which I have never heard before, which is awesome. I'm excited most of all for Back for Blood. Brother, that was one of the standouts for me too. Back for Blood. And trust me, I didn't even get into the Left 4 Dead franchise. I didn't play it. It wasn't, you guys know I don't play any online games. I suck. I'm terrible. I'm going to need somebody to help me every step of the way because I'm going to just take the team down with me. But, you know, as far as the Back for Blood goes, man, that game just looked graphically so beautiful. It caught me off guard, and I'm very, very excited to hear more about that. I believe one subset that's supposed to release sometime this summer. I might be a little off on that, but that's what I'm at least I'm thinking I'm remembering, but we'll see. He says a game in which I did not know that I really wanted to come back, but I am glad to see that it is. Left 4 Dead was a great franchise. I'm so glad that it's coming back in this new form. I'm not going to make this a long email, but look forward to longer emails from me so I don't send 2 or 3 per feedback episode. Well, I'm out for now. Wash your face, hands, and butt, and please wear a mask. Peace. I think it's safe to say, first off, this Arc 2, brother, I gotta be honest with you, one subset. I am not looking forward to this. Let me tell you, I told you guys on one of the episodes, I thought that it might have been a deeper look at Horizon Forbidden West because it threw me off so much. But Arc, it's definitely similar to yourself, one subset. It is not my type of game, brother. And unless this is a campaign that they're going to be having you partake in and be a part of, I could care less about this game. But when it comes to, just switching gears from that, when it comes to Cyberpunk, I think it's safe to say that the game did not reach the heights that CD Projekt Red promised. And I'll say this, to be fair, I would say, look, the last gen versions, we all know how that turned out. They're terrible. It's not really a good gaming experience. What I would say is we've seen it from Digital Foundry that the Xbox Series X version plays very well and the PlayStation 5 version plays good too. But what I would say is outside of those versions, I think we should really, and trust me, this isn't my place to say this because there are people out there that spent the $60 for this game. So I'm not saying it like brush it up under the rug. CD Projekt Red, they messed up. The game was in certain degrees falsely advertised with that last gen version. But I would say is though, CD Projekt Red, they've done such a good job over the years. I would say don't just hail them into the ocean off of this, off of this mistake. What I would say is judge them when the next gen versions come out. I mean, look, that's easy for me to say because I didn't spend the money. And once again, I'm not saying it as an excuse for CD Projekt Red, but what they were showing us, did everybody really believe that could run on last gen hardware? You know what? I ain't even going to sit up here and lie to y'all. I thought it was possible. I did. After seeing games like Ghost of Tsushima running on the PS4 and The Last of Us Part 2 running on the 4, I'm like, yeah, I think that's definitely a possibility. But we see that unfortunately that has not been the case. So what I would say is, don't give them a break. Call them out on it. Continue to call CD Projekt Red out on what the situation is. And they are going through it right now. But I would say let the real judgment come in once they give us the PlayStation 5 and the Series X versions. If those versions are still just as bad and there are no, performance changes or graphical changes, then I would say, yeah, give them more of what they're already getting because they would definitely deserve it. They already deserve it as it is, but thinking of it from that perspective, if they're not able to deliver on the current generational hardware, if they can't make the game better and give us a better product, then yeah, that's a even bigger L. So yeah, that's what I would say about that. But one subset, I believe, brother, you have quite a few more here, man. This is the One Subset Tech It show right here, man. Let me see what else we got here, brother. This is your third email. Oh, this is a shorter one. He says, the title of this one is, and trust me, One Subset, I'm not trying to make you feel bad, brother. I appreciate you taking this time out and writing these emails, brother. Don't feel embarrassed. I'm just having fun with you, man. But I really, really appreciate you writing in. So the third email right here is entitled, Well, It Comes to This. One Subset Tekken says, Hello, Kiaun. This will be quick. Hope all is well. I like the way this brother he starts it out the same way every single time, and I appreciate that. He says, I hope all is well with you. Yes, it is, brother. I'm hanging in there, man. He says, now, there was something a few months ago saying that Master Chief would be on PlayStation. Yeah, I remember that rumor, yeah. Well, Master Chief now is on Fortnite, so in a sense, and in a way, he really is on PlayStation. Oh, shucks. He says, how about that? And the last world premiere trailer from the VGAs was a Mass Effect. Oh, yeah. I talked about that. He says, as much as I want to be excited, I remember Andromeda. Yeah. Not their best work, my good brother. He says, BioWare has a lot to prove now that Casey Hudson is no longer there. He's not. We talked about that too. It's not like the doctors who worked on the first game are coming back. I think, yeah, man, the doctors were awesome on this franchise. They were fantastic back in the day. He says, I think they dislike EA more than I do. I like the idea of Mass Effect trying to come back, but I just don't want to be disappointed again. Shaking my head. Andromeda, maybe I'll give it another try. Maybe. But I'm done. He says maybe. He says, but I'm done. So this was a quick one. So wash your face, hands, and butt. And please wear a mask. Still in Florida. Yeah, he's at his beach house. Still in Florida, where they will arrest you for picking oranges. Are you serious? You can't pick the citrus oranges in Florida without getting arrested in handcuffs? Oh, shucks. Man, brother, you're going to have to elaborate on that for me, brother. But no, I appreciate this. Listen, man, this is the thing, man. Mass Effect, well, first off, Master Chief, how about that? Now, see, I thought that Master Chief was just going to be exclusive to the PlayStation. I mean, golly, not PlayStation. God, dog, imagine that. But to the Xbox and Kratos, because I believe Kratos is in Fortnite now. I thought he was an exclusive character on the PlayStation side. So and I have done no research on this one subset, but if that is the case, if Master Chief is essentially on the PlayStation because he is in Fortnite, would that mean that Kratos is in turn on the Xbox? That would be so interesting. I understand that it's Fortnite. It's a very popular game. The game has made millions upon millions upon millions. We have gone over their numbers. I think that was last week sometime on how much those guys have made, because Tencent, once again, they have their paws and claws inside of that company as well over at Epic. So yeah, those guys are just making money hand over fist. And, that would be so interesting to see Kratos. I mean, either one of those guys swapped over on the other console. Very interesting, man. But your other point, as far as Mass Effect goes, yeah, man, listen, man, I know Andromeda, that wasn't the game that the Mass Effect, the real Mass Effect fans wanted. I don't think it was as bad as people made it out to be. Yeah, it was a little shaky, but I mean, the glitches and the bugs really killed it, man, with the faces when they were sagging, and they did themselves no favors in that first 2 weeks of launch. So, I think overall, it's not a bad game. Is it on the same level as the first 3 Mass Effects? Absolutely not. But I think also a part of that had to do with expectations, man. Expectations for that 4th one were huge. They were big, similar to Cyberpunk 2077. And whose fault is that? That's, of course, the publisher's fault. Sometimes as fans, we can be the ones at fault because we hype it up in our minds to be bigger than what it can naturally be. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that about Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk, CD Projekt Red, they hyped that game to the high clouds in the sky. That's on them. But for Andromeda, we saw that game was having a couple of problems. It got delayed a couple of times. Things weren't looking too good. And, when it came out, it was unfortunately what we didn't want. But what I am hoping happens, and you're right, Casey Hudson, that guy, he's out of the way. They have the team that's working on this. This is supposed to be filled with some veterans of the first 3 Mass Effects. So all we can hope at this point, one subset, is that those guys, they deliver, they get it together, they get the storytelling together, the character development, and they give us a great game. I'm not going to give up on them and throw the towel in on them, even though BioWare has struggled, man. They have not done great on their last 2 outings. That being, of course, like we were just talking about, Andromeda, and the other game that came out that it is slipping my mind, but it's the multiplayer game. Golly, it's slipping my mind. I'm not going to be able to remember it until after we're completely done with this. But we're gonna wait, we're gonna see, and hopefully those guys will be on the upswing for Anthem. That's the name of it, Anthem. That didn't come out too well, but hopefully with this third, when they say third time's a charm, hey man, the Ravens, it took us 3 times to get the doggone Titans, and we finally got them on the 3rd try. So hopefully with this situation, 3rd time will be a charm, and we'll get that Mass Effect game that we've all been waiting for. Let me see. Did you have another one here? One subset. Let me see. Yeah, you actually gave me 4 in a row. Okay, this is the 4th one. Now the title of this is Now I Can Enjoy. He says, hello, Kiaun. How are you? Hope all is well with you. I knew it was coming, brother. He says, I hope everyone is enjoying their Black Friday deals and new consoles. I myself have been enjoying Game Pass and the new EA segment that has been added. Man, when I say enjoying, I've been on Fight Night Champion. Oh, Fight Night was amazing. And it's more than I could have imagined. I loved the Fight Night series from the days of the PlayStation 1. Oh, man, PS1 back when it was called Ring Kings. Y'all remember that? Was it called Ring Kings? I believe, no. I think Ring King was on a Nintendo. It was something Kings, though, man. Knockout Kings, I believe it was called. Back in the day on the PS1. You took me back for a second. Maybe, I think that was the name of it. But let me continue with your email. He says, the last one I bought used was Fight Night 3, and it was as good as can be. Then I really fell off the series. EA Chicago, I believe, who developed That's the same studio, I think, crashed and burned the Def Jam. Oh, man. And those jokers were terrible, man. Def Jam Vendetta and Fight for New York. I wonder if Icon will be added to the service. Golly. With my self-applied embargo not to buy any new EA games, I missed a lot. Yeah, let me tell you, man, just backing up for a second, just to the Def Jam Vendetta and Fight for New York. Those two games were really, really good and fun games. And I'm not really usually into, one-on-one fighters. It's not, the fighting genre isn't really, a genre that I'm like extremely into. I'll play them every now and again. But those two, thoroughly enjoyed those back in the day. And then when Icon came out with, what was his name? Kudo Sonodo, I believe, worked on those, on the not Fight Night, but Def Jam Icons. I believe it was Kudo Sonodo. This was years ago. I said, what the heck is this? I don't know what this is. You're DJing in the air, with no DJ set, just waving your hand in the air, and then you do a special. I'm like, this is not at all what I've grown to like about Def Jam Vendetta and Fight for New York. What the heck is this? The gameplay was sluggish. It was just too much of a change. It was absolutely not the same game. He tried to go too far. I mean, graphically, God dog, what a beautiful game for the time. It was amazing looking. When I first saw it, I said, good gosh, this is what graphics are looking like on the 360. I am all in. I need this. And then I played the demo. I was like, oh no. Oh, no, can't do it. But let me finish with your email here, brother. This is a long one. He says, okay, he missed out on a lot. Some EA series I just never got into, and I'm finding there are a lot of games I never got into because they were a EA product. I'm cool with that. I'm getting to enjoy them now. If EA never bought the NFL rights, I would have never stopped playing EA. I would have never stopped playing EA games to the extent that I did. Yeah, I agree with that, brother. That was a bogus move when they brought up the NFL right. Man, let me continue with your email, brother. God dog. He says between EA blocking Thrill Kill and buying the NFL was enough for me to fight with my dollars. I might be showing my age with my reasons for prejudice, but so be it. Nah, I agree with that, man. If you don't agree with what a company is doing, that's the best way to hit them is with your money, not giving them your money. I agree with that method. He says, I'm having a good time with these games now, especially in the absence of a new console. You asked, when is a game too long? For me, when a game enters the 85 to 100 hour mark. Yeah, as long as that, brother. That's RPG numbers for sure. He says, and doesn't offer a new experience, just rehash of the last 60 hours like Nier Automata. He says, I've started playing that game, and when I looked online to see what's the game about, there more talk about the multiple possible endings. The game is long. Yeah, they talked about the endings before, saying some kind of secret came up about that. But he says, but the game is long, but there's something there to keep you going. So if Cyberpunk is well over the 100-hour mark, I hope it's worth it. We've all played games that just were too long and maybe never finished. Let's hope Cyberpunk doesn't fall into this category. There will be a lot of bad blood between the gaming community and CD. Man, brother, it's already that, brother. I mean, good grief. People threatening people as usual. You know, these gangster keyboard tough guys. Yeah, they up here typing up stuff and, you know, all of, you know, the stuff that they do, one subset. But anyway, moving on. He says, moving right along. He said moving right along. God dog. He said the Costello protocol is the spirit of Dead Space. Looks like it will be scaring the pants off of us. Yeah, man, that thing looks great. I'm hoping to see more on that later on this year. He says, cause no one can hear you scream in space. This game looks like it will fill the void of Space Station gone bad. We need this in our lives. I agree. I never played DS3, but I heard that it didn't live up to the first two. What is this game, though? Prisoners, miners, in space with the alien race is a bad roommate. I don't know, but really hope it will live up to Dead Space. And man, brother, let me tell you something, brother. You typed a lot here, brother. I gotta be honest with you, one subset. Brother, you can feel free, man. This is a lot to read here. You can feel free, brother, to call in at 443-216-9934. Brother, you could have told me all of this. Man, brother, you are lucky I like you, man. I'm going to finish reading this, but one subset, God dog it, brother. He says, let me see, prisoners, miners in space with the alien race is a bad roommate. It's a bad roommate. He says, I don't know, but I really hope it lives up to Dead Space. We're just gonna have to wait till 2022 to find out. I'm really looking forward to next year when I actually get into the current generation. I just hope my TV is up to par. Yeah, me too. I gotta do mine too, man. I gotta change up my TV a little bit. He says, it's a great time to be a gamer. Yes, it is, brother. He says, can we talk about hey, what's up, said brother? Man, like I said, feel free to call and send. You can phone this in, good brother. I'm going to finish up this email. Let me see. He says, hold on, man. God dog, I got to find it again. God dog, Dead Space scaring the pants off. Okay, can we talk about The Perfect Dark? I have zero interest in this franchise prior to the VGA. Man, let me tell you, Perfect Dark. Man, I'm gonna finish this email, brother. I'm gonna finish this email with Perfect Dark. I'm interested in it. I wish they had went with an original franchise, a new IP, but maybe it'll turn out to be great. But let me finish this up here, brother. He says, zero interest in this franchise prior to the VGAs. I have no interest, but failed to grab me. I remember the days of the N64 when it was the talk of the town. I never had an N64, brother. You ain't miss out on much. It was a terrible system. It wasn't great. I said it, God dog it. The N64 was not great. Let me see. He says, I was on the Saturn and Saturn was tough too. God dog, that wasn't that great either, brother. Saturn had a couple joints, House of the Dead. Man, let me finish this email. God dog it. He said he was on a Saturn and PlayStation train during those days. Even with it coming to Xbox, I still never had an interest in the game. Yeah, that wasn't a good version of the game either, brother. He says, I hope the new game can change my mind. The Evil Dead is being brought to us. I don't know how to feel about this game. The game looks interesting, man. It looks interesting. I think it has possible potential. I don't know if it's going to be fantastic, but it might be okay. He says the movie was great for its time, but I don't know how it translates to a video game. I hope it's done right. The last thing we need is a movie turned to a video game that bombs. Well, I think that's enough. You think so, brother? God dog it. He says, I think that's enough on my mind that I have to share. As always, wash your face, hands, and butt, and please wear a mask. Still relaxing. See, this brother said he is relaxing in his summer home in Sebring, Florida. Once again, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. This brother is in a summer home. Listen, what's up, Set? As always, I got a couple more here from you too, brother. But I appreciate you writing in, man. God, dog. I told y'all, this is going to be a long episode. This might be the longest episode that we have ever done. We got 4 in a row from Mr. One Sub Said Tech It. So like I said, I read them the way they come in. One sub said he was hitting me, man. And once again, I appreciate it. I gotta have some fun with you, One Sub said, because brother, that was a long email, man. But I like you. You my dude, man. And I appreciate you writing in. And we gonna get to your other ones in just a minute. But up next, we have the OG, Mr. Cody Clark, who has written in. Now, the time he had wrote this in was December 15th, 2020. All right, so the title of this email from Mr. Cody Clark, the OG, he says, so much content this month. He says, man, you pumped out casts like you were, I don't know, pumping things. What, Cody? I was pumping things and analogy lost. It's all good, man. What's going on? I gotta read this. He says, anyways, year has come to an end. I am not one for best, worst, all that yada yada. I am curious if you happen to kind of know how much time you spent with each of your consoles and where most of your gaming ended up located. I get it. Wait a minute. He was talking about yeah, man, hold on. Hey, Cody, just to answer that, brother, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I knew that I wasn't going to be able to record. Well, not that I wasn't going to be able to, but I wasn't going to be, because I was going on, the holiday break or whatever you call it for the 2 weeks. So what I tried to do, Cody, was I tried to make as much content as I could, because I knew I wasn't going to be around for a little bit, just to try to, give you guys something to listen to. But I appreciate you noticing that. Thank you so much for that, brother. But let me get back to your email here at hand. You said how much time you spent with each of your consoles and where most of your gaming ended up located. Let me tell you something, man, Cody, to be honest with you, and you know how much I'm hard on Xbox, and I absolutely love the PlayStation. Man, outside of the exclusives on the PlayStation, I have to let this be known. Outside of those, I was on the Xbox. If I had to compare one versus the other as far as how much time I had on one versus the other, I would have to say, I think I just repeated myself there, but I would have to say that I spent more time on the Xbox. The Xbox got a little bit more of my attention. Now, to be fair though, Cody, I gotta put this caveat out there, brother. I watch a lot of YouTube on the Xbox. I know that doesn't sound good, because that's the joke, the running joke that people have about Xbox players. They always on YouTube, or they always on Hulu or whatever. I was on YouTube, man. Now, granted, I was also playing games over on the Xbox. But now, see, that takes it to another level though, Cody, because if we're comparing where did I game more, as far as like just gaming goes, not just being on the other console, man, brother, I might have to say, God dog, I might have to say I was on the PlayStation a little bit more, man. I just got a doggone message. Who is this? I think the PlayStation kind of ran the gambit a little bit on the Xbox this year, man. There was so many games that were coming out. I mean, I spent 30 plus hours just in The Last of Us Part 2 alone. And Yeah, I'm just gonna say I think I was on my PlayStation more, Cody, to answer that question, man. But let me continue on. Let me continue on. He says, was it on the PlayStation 4 crushing some God of War or Spider-Man, or was it more time in Zelda with your Switch, or getting your Yakuza and whatever the mobster game is on Xbox? Yeah, I think PlayStation might have won that battle this year, Cody, to be perfectly honest with you. And this is the thing. Xbox at this moment in time, they are really starting to show a bit of a spark. I mean, I have more faith in them. I'm not saying that I'm fully sold that they're going to go out there and they're going to compete on one heck of a high level versus Sony. But I will say, man, once again, if you guys haven't played Hive Busters, God dog, that game really lets you see how talented the coalition is. And I would just recommend, it's $20, or if you got Game Pass, check it out over there. It just shows you what their talent level can be. So that, coupled with, some of the newer games coming out this year, Halo Infinite, I'm not a big fan of the medium. It might be good, I don't know, but that on top of some of the other games that they have coming out, I do have more faith that Xbox will eventually get it together. I just don't know if they're going to be able to survive. And I know that sounds so just overly dramatic. I don't know if they're going to be able to survive. Listen, I'm going to say this. I don't know if they're going to be able to survive this onslaught of games that are coming from PlayStation, man. Ratchet and Clank, God dog, soon as I get a PS5, that's going to be one of the first games on my list. And depending on when Ratchet and Clank comes out and I get my PS5, that might be that literal first game I get. Then God of War possibly coming out this year. I don't think that's going to happen. I've said that a million times, but if it does, that'll be incredible. Then Horizon Forbidden West coming out. I mean, those are just three huge games that are coming out just this year. So that's why I say I don't know what Microsoft can do to combat that, which would mean that once again, this might be another year similar to last year that I'll be on the PlayStation more than the Xbox. But we'll see though, man. We'll see. But to finish up your email here, Cody, you said, as per usual, my time this year was in Overwatch, Fortnite, and a few smaller games. Those Telltale Batman games though, man, you ain't never lied. Listen, Telltale games, man, y'all might know a bit of my history with, those guys, as far as their games go, because I don't know anybody over at Telltale, but their games, I wasn't so high on them so much. The only game that I used to speak so highly of was The Wolf Among Us. I thought that game was amazing. And then Batman came along. God, dog. That game is excellent. Absolutely excellent. I would recommend anybody check out that whole story because it was fantastic. But you said now for 2021 to get here, and maybe Microsoft will gift us more X and S series availability nationwide. Maybe, doubt it, but never hurts to wish. Cody, thank you for this email, brother, and I believe we have a few more from you coming up very, very soon, but once again, thank you for this email. Now we're going to get back into, once again, like I said, it's the What's Up Set Tech show this week, man, because we got another one from him, and this is from December 15th, 2020. Now the title of this email is Year's End. He says, hello, Kiaun. I hope all is well with you. It is, brother. I'm having a great time, man. He says, I'm sending this email out due to your last episode. Okay. He says, I hope you do one last listener feedback and one more regular episode. Why? Maybe I'm just being greedy. Oh, man. He says, however, I just have one more topic to put on the table. No problem, man. He says, with all the games being delayed to 2021 or 2022, and with all the games shown at the VGAs for the same time span, does anyone see an oversaturation of video games, or will we as gamers will we have as many games as possible? Well, that's all I have. Man, this was short. Wow. Well, that's all I have till next year. May all you fellow gamers enjoy the holidays with your families and friends in small numbers, and be safe bringing in the new year. Yes, sir. He says be safe and wash your hands, face, and butt, and wear a mask. Oh, he was back in Lucama this time. Okay, brother went back home to Lucama, North Carolina. He says today was a travel day. Peace. Okay, brother. All right, man. This brother's keeping us up to date on his locations, where this brother is. Man, that's the thing, man. I have said for a while, golly, man, as much as I love gaming, some years have been very oversaturated. And this year, I think we're going to get it again. One subset, like I was saying, brother, here it is. You have PlayStation. They're and it's still TBD. We don't know if it's 100% going to happen, but if it does, and these guys bring out just those 3 games I was talking about, then they're talking about Gran Turismo is going to be out this year. Final Fantasy 16 is supposed to be out this year. I mean, that's a lot of big games. Halo Infinite is coming out later on this year. It does get to the point. I mean, I have heard that Assassin's Creed, maybe the next one of those, isn't coming out until 2022, so those guys might be taking a year off. But still, that's a lot of games, and that's not including some stuff that we don't know. I mean, what did I call it for Blood? The Left 4 Dead game. For Blood, I can't remember. I told y'all my memory is terrible, but that's coming out this year on top of what the world else. I mean, who the world knows, one subset. So I would like for it to be a bit more slow pace. And I understand that, it's a business. These guys, they're trying to make money. They're trying to flip these franchises right back out the door every year, kind of like 2K, like Call of Duty, like Madden, like those guys do. And man, it just seems like it's a lot, man. It's a lot to deal with. And then if you're a person that has Game Pass, man, you can hang it the heck up. You just gonna be busy. So I do wish that things would slow down a bit. Things would be a little more spaced out. These games are not getting smaller. I mean, like we were talking about, as far as like the time goes, some of these games going 40, 50, 70 hours. I mean, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, I'm 100% sure, and I got that, by the way. Got that from my lady. Shout out to her. Thank you so much. I got that, and I'm sure I'm not going to be able to beat that game in 10 to 12 hours. I can almost guarantee that. And I haven't even cracked the wrapper open on that. So with games increasing in length and, so many of them coming out in such short periods of time, it's only 12 months in a year, and how much time do you have, where you're at home versus at work or just going, of course, going out isn't as viable as it used to be, but it's a new year, who knows? I'm hoping that things get better. Excuse me, a little bit more back to normal. So, between having a social life and, having to spend time with your family, spend time, with yourself, even off of the sticks. I mean, how much time does the average adult have? I would say this, man. I was saying this, man, a couple of months ago. I said, if young Kiaun had knew this Kiaun back when he was 15, 16 years old, maybe 14 when he had time, man, he'd have been my best doggone friend, man. What game did you buy this week? Let me try it. I know you ain't gonna play it. That's what I say to myself all the time. Now that I'm an adult, I can afford all of these games and all of these consoles, and it's truly a blessing to be able to do that. I do not take it for granted, but being able to have all of these fun things to play, I don't even have the time to do it. It's like, golly, I got the money, to buy the stuff, but I just don't have the time. So I would once again just wish that, games would come out, a little more spaced out and it'd be fewer of them. And who knows, with, what's his name? Jim Ryan, he's saying that they're not going to have as many big AAA games like they used to have. And like I was talking about in one of the other episodes, I was saying maybe his defining of a AAA game might not necessarily be the quality of how great the game looks or the production, but maybe it could have something to do with the hours, maybe making the experiences a little shorter, like Miles Morales, or this possible God of War that's coming out that people are saying that it's going to be kind of on the lines of the Lost Legacy, Uncharted. It wasn't DLC, but it was it might have been DLC. Yeah, it was just, those kind of length games. So if that's the case, that's why I was asking, when is a game too long? I think if games were shorter and they were coming out, some people would feel cheated. You're never going to get everybody on board with that. But for me, as just a person that just, doesn't have as much time as I wish I could have on the sticks, shorter, and I'm not saying every game should do this. It absolutely should not. But shorter experiences aren't necessarily a bad thing. If the game is fantastic and you had an amazing ride with it, then, 10, 12 hours, I don't think that's egregious for $60 or $70. And of course, that's subjective, but I would wish that, not every game, but some games would possibly take on that format to help with the saturation level of so many games being released in 1 year. But one subset, I really appreciated this email, brother, and I think we got a few more from you. We got 2 more from you, so we're going to get back to you in just a minute. But now, Mr. this brother right here, I can't wait to talk to you, man. Mr. Sir William X. Oh, brother. I know you heard the intro. I know you know where I'm going with this, my good brother. But I'm going to get to the title of your email here, my good man. The title is hashtag Game of the Year. He says, yo, Kiaun, this is Sir William X. I know it's you, man. I know who it is. He says, and I had to email you to mention the Game of the Year. And I like the way he's doing this. This is kind of like a pun, kind of like based off of the Game Awards and actually a game that was played, because I could see some words in here. I see the Ravens in here. I know where we're going. But he says, and no, I knew it. And no, it's not The Last of Us, Cyberpunk 2077, nor is it Spider-Man Miles Morales. He says the Game of the Year and maybe the decade was the Ravens. See, I saw that before I went any further. I saw that Ravens right there, brother. He says the Ravens versus the Browns. Brother, that game was sensational. Man, let me tell you something, brother. I'm going to finish this email, but man, I had to go to work at 1 a.m. Was it midnight? Or it had to be 1 a.m. because the game wasn't over till well after 10. And I stayed up for that whole game, Sir William X. And I'm telling you, man, I was holding hands with my lady when doggone, Justin Tucker had to kick the field goal. Brother, it felt like we won the Super Bowl. It felt like we did. That was an amazing game, brother. I absolutely loved it. I ran off of adrenaline the whole night to make it to Connecticut, where I had to, shout out to Mike J, where I had to, deliver some freight. So yeah, man, that was one heck of a game. He says, that's right. That was one of the most, I should have read your email, God dog. He says that was one of the most compelling games that I've ever seen. That game had to have been scripted. I know it was crazy, man. He says it was so good the way Lamar allegedly had to exit the game to attend to his bubble guts and came back just as their very last quarterback went down with injury and couldn't continue. He says, bravo! He says, I loved every minute of that game. Me too, man. When Lamar Jackson came back on the field, brother, it was amazing, man. It was like you said, something out of a movie. Listen, bro, let me finish your email here. God dog, I don't want to get too ahead of myself. He says, now, to switch topics and to actually speak on a topic that fits this podcast description, I do believe PlayStation will keep the ball rolling with great titles. And they don't have to be exclusives. There will be third-party games that will look amazing too. Yet now that is an interesting point. Because that was something I was asking you guys, and thank you for answering that too, Sir William X. I really appreciate that, man. I was asking, can Sony keep up this same momentum with all of these games that are coming out this year? What are they going to do next year and the year after that? Because I was a little not concerned necessarily. I mean, it's not my company. None of my money is on the line. But as a gamer, I was just wondering, is the content gonna slow up? Like it never slowed up, to be fair. PlayStation 4, what happened in that console generation, which to me was Sony's greatest console generation. I know the 2 gets all of the accolades. PS2 was amazing, DVD player, Grand Theft Auto 3, Final Fantasy X. I get it. Amazing games and phenomenal experiences. Even Metal Gear Solid 2 was on the PS2, which it was good. It was good, but it was one of the highlight titles, I would say. But with the PlayStation 4, I thought that just the production level and just how amazing the games were that came out of Sony, the level of amazing detail that these games had, the stories, the voice acting, the gameplay. I mean, these games, they said that Sony broke a record or something where they were the only, I'm going to get this stat slightly wrong, but I know they were saying that they were the only company that had, I believe, 3 years in a row Game of the Year contenders. And I mean, that would make sense because they had God of War one year. Shoot, they had Spider-Man the same year, I believe, was up for Game of the Year. Then not last year, but the year after that, 2019, Death Stranding, they won some awards off of that game. And then 2020, they had The Last of Us Part 2. So these guys, they have been on a roll like never before, during the PS4's era. But what did happen is, Sir William X, as the generation went on and all of their E3s, they had so many E3s where our mouths would just drop, man. They were on the floor like, golly, did you just see that game? But what happened eventually, though, Sir William X, and we all saw it, was their E3s, they started repeating themselves. They started showing Days Gone a couple of times. They started showing Death Stranding a few times. Last of Us Part 2 was being shown. Ghost of Tsushima was shown, more than once. So it was like eventually they started kind of tiring out. Not saying that the game quality went down, not even golly, what was I going to say? An inch. It was phenomenal. But I just wonder, will that same thing happen when it comes to the PS5? Because we've seen them not necessarily come out the gate hot, but maybe after that year or two, they start revving up. And then it's like when it gets closer to the end, they start having a repeat and they don't have too much more left in the chamber, So, we will definitely see with these third-party deals happening. Like I mentioned, Final Fantasy 16 is supposed to be out this year. That's supposed to be an exclusive for at least a year or two. The Project Athena, I believe that's going to be that is an exclusive for at least 2 years. They have Deathloop. That's an exclusive, which is crazy because that's from Bethesda. Which next month, if everything does go through like it should, they will be under Microsoft's banner, as well as the what is it? Tokyo. Forgetting the name of it, but it's another game by Bethesda that they have the deal on as well. So I can understand where you're coming from with that, Sir William X, that third-party deals will definitely help them get over the hump as well. But getting to the last part of your email, he says, I'm curious, have you played Cyberpunk? No, I have not, brother. I did not get it yet. He says, I got it, and it's the first game of 2020, besides Madden 21, that I've played. He says, man, is this game rough looking on the PlayStation 4 Pro. I know it, man. We've seen Digital Foundry. And like I said, I know it wasn't as advertised. CD Projekt Red, they dropped the whole ball on this one, as far as what they advertised the game to be. And, it's very unfortunate, man. It's just unfortunate. I was going to say misfortune, God dog, but it's unfortunate. He says, I guess I'm not totally surprised because The Witcher 3 was not the best looking game, and Cyberpunk 2077 is even more ambitious. Very good point. He says, however, I do believe they should have given a later release date the last time they delayed it. Anyways, I really wanted to just reference the game of the year. Happy holidays to the Analog Circle Nation. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much, man. It's always great to hear from you, Sir William X. And I had to poke some fun at you, brother. I had to, man. Every week, not every week, but, when we would play you games, you would hit me with the hashtag tighten up. Oh, man, it was hard for me to take that pill, brother. It was hard to swallow that. So today, when we were able to get you guys, man, finally won. We had to give you the same treatment y'all gave us at M&T Stadium, which is about 9 or 10 miles from my house. Going past that stadium, I had nightmares, brother, about you guys, man. Coming into this game, I was so worried, man. But listen, I'm getting off track talking about doggone the NFL, the Ravens, and the Titans. But, brother, I think we are definitely going to see you guys next year. This is one heck of a rivalry that, it's more than brewing. It's always been there, but us seeing each other more than once. It's great, man. And you guys, you tried, but we had to contain Derrick Henry and, all of that stuff. But listen, man, just once again, Sir William X, really appreciate you, brother. And it was something in here you had said that I did want to comment on. About, like The Witcher 3. I was saying that was a good point. I think that was about it, brother. I think that was it. But please, once again, feel free to write in, Sir William X. I love, having you give your thoughts and opinions. Me and you going back and forth about our teams. It's always great banter. And I appreciate you, brother. And thank you again so much for the email, man. So up next, we have Mr. Crimson Phoenix, who wrote in, and he wrote this the 22nd of December. He says, hello again. Well, I was surprised it happened on my birthday. A $25 gift card from a good friend, but a second card for Christmas. I thank you. Oh, you won, man. That's awesome. He says, I bought Cyberpunk with the first and Call of Duty with the second. Still can't believe I got 2 in a row. Congratulations. Hey, man, hold on, man. Crimson Phoenix, he got it. He won the doggone gift card. Shout out to you, brother. He says, feel free to shout me out and happy holidays to you and yours. Man, this is so cool, man. Congratulations on that, brother. Congratulations. That's what I love to hear that you guys, you cash them in. It's like, man, I'm sitting here. Y'all don't understand, man. I really appreciate y'all, man. Y'all are very, very important to me, man. I mean, listen, man, whenever you get people that support you, they come out and they support the show. And like I said, the numbers have grown so much, and I know it's just not off of me. It's because of you guys spreading the word, telling people about the podcast. It is because of y'all, man. And I really humbly appreciate you guys for doing that. So when I give the gift cards away, I want you guys to take advantage of them. I want y'all to type it in. See if you can get one. You never know. You just might get it. And just like Crimson Phoenix said, he got 2 in a row. You know, from just trying to type in the code to see if he was the winner. So I'm glad you were able to take advantage of that, Crimson Phoenix. And thank you again, brother, for just letting me know that you actually were able to receive it and get it. So shout out to you for once again getting the $25 on the Xbox. Man, that is so, so awesome. Continue to write in, man. It's always great to hear from you, Crimson Phoenix. But we have next coming up, Mr. Cody Clark. Now, you went on a bit of a run. Oh, shucks, we got a couple of these from Mr. Cody. Now, his next one is titled Old is New, New is Newer. Oh, man, what a play on words. You're a poet, Cody, man. You're a poet. Now, he wrote this, the day after Christmas, 12/26/2020. He says, and I'm reading off the date so y'all know that I'm going in order. You know, like I say, I'm going to start from the oldest ones, and we're going to, get up to the newer ones. So that's why I'm reading the dates out. He says, after getting to bask in the Christmas fortune that was Walmart dropping off the S series on Christmas Eve morning, you made out like a bandit. That's crazy. They actually delivered it on Christmas Eve. What a gift. He says, making that day of work unfairly long in anticipation. I can say the setup and first impressions of the S are pretty amazing. Even with my roommate using the Xbox One X on the TV next to mine, the bigger, more expensive one, he admitted to considerable new tech envy just watching it load up and get going. Man, I know those load times is crazy. He says the dang thing does have a tiny profile and is nearly silent. The load times for a number of games is amazing. Even just plugging in my old Xbox One external HD with a USB 3 cable made load time scream. So the whole issue of, oh my God, it's only 600 gigs of storage for the S is laughable for any non-X/S enhanced games. Those you heed the special storage or whatever other gimmicks. Currently, I have Cyberpunk, Fortnite, and Borderlands 3 on the internal and have 51% remaining. Are you serious? God, dog, wait a minute. You got Cyberpunk on there along with Borderlands 3, Fortnite. I'm not too, worried about that, but excuse me. But you still have 51% left. I would have thought Cyberpunk would have took way more of a chunk than that out of the storage. He says, God, dog, that's impressive. He says, remaining everything else I own is on the external. And I mean, with Game Pass, I can download whatever game I want. After seeing how Cyberpunk played on my old Xbox One S, it chugged along and there were tons of frame drops, especially during driving. It played okay, but I sort of knew what I was getting into. After upping to the S series, my roommate noted how much better the lighting effects were and how much smoother everything around me moved. I have seen maybe 1 or 2 frame drops driving. Otherwise, it's like a different game in frames and light effects. Yeah. Now, that was so interesting with Digital Foundry, Cody. I remember they had went head to head, the Series X, the Series S, and the PS5, and they were really impressed by the outcome of what the S was able to do. They said, shockingly, the S plays really good, and I believe, and don't quote me on it, but I'm almost 100% sure, they said that the S was running at a steady 30 frames per second, where it was really no drop. So they were really impressed by that. And just the fact that you're able to get these better light effects and, things are just running smoother. That says a ton. But let me continue on. He says, it is hard to pinpoint how much different each system does without taking the effort to sit down, record, and compare, which isn't my interest. I don't blame you. He says, I just wanted to play the games faster and enjoy my collection. Let me make sure that's what you said. Enjoy my collection. Totally worth the $300. Even more than I ended up getting. Even more that I ended up getting it 2 weeks faster than I expected. Golly, so you even got it a lot faster. Man, totally worth it. I think the X series is a bad machine, but you don't really need it. The S is kicking butt, man. Listen, man, I mean, Cody, I can't front, brother. I got to get the X, brother. I need the Series X. If I'm gonna get one, I gotta go for the X, my brother. But I am very happy to hear that you are enjoying the console, man, and you're enjoying the load times. You're enjoying that the games are playing better. The frame rates are better. It's just performing better. Even your friend, even your roommate looking over there and what the S is doing and having just a tad bit of envy. Technology-wise, that's so cool, man. I'm just glad that you were able to get it, and it came on Christmas Eve. What better of a gift than to have something not only come on Christmas Eve, but also come 2 weeks early. That's awesome, man. I'm glad you've been enjoying your purchase, Cody. Now, I'm going to get into your next email, which is dated for 12/28. 2020. Now, the title of this email is Limits of Limitations. He says, so over the weekend, Fios kept dropping up. Man, listen, no, man, God, I told you, Comcast. Those jokers are daggone mafia, brother. They got you paying for services, and when it breaks, they don't even come out right away. We're going to get back to you next week. And that's what I'm saying. Once again, this isn't going to go up on Sunday when I'm recording it. I gotta go, I'm going down south, actually, North Carolina. Hey, Free Fly, I'm sorry, not Free Fly. Shout out to that good brother, though. One subset, man, I might have to call you up, brother. But yeah, it's not, gonna be uploaded in time. I'm talking probably these aren't gonna go up till Wednesday real late. So I'm saying that so you guys don't think that I'm off my square and I'm slipping. I'm absolutely not. But because of Comcast not coming out and fixing the internet, I just gotta upload the episodes a little late in the week. But let me get to your email here, Cody. You just talking about Fios. It triggered me, brother. It triggered something. But he says, so that made my shiny new S series a lovely little box of nothing, as it has no disc port, so even no disc port. So even if I wanted to play, oh shoot, that's right. It doesn't have a port for the games to go in. It's all digital. Oh shucks. He says, so even if I wanted to play disc games, I could do nada. So a large portion of the weekend was waiting on hold with Verizon trying to get stuff resolved. Though, to be fair, it was the same thing for my roomie's Xbox One X and the old Xbox One S, as most of our games are digital and on external hard drive saves for, I don't know, maybe 10 old already beaten games. So as fun as new tech toys can be, the trade-off is clearly wait a minute. Yeah, the trade-off is clearly no interwebs, no fun time for Cody and the roomie. But when the chips are down, the games I play the most are online only anyways. So even if I had the disc, I'd still be up a creek without a pack. That's a good point, man. I mean, we live in this time. You guys remember when this was becoming a thing where you had to be online all the time and people were up in arms about the Xbox One. We don't want this. We don't need this. And then all of a sudden, here we are. And to your point, Cody, once you are offline, you can't do anything. Your console is just sitting there. I will say, however, though, because I was, in the same boat you were in, Cody, this weekend, I will say, man, that, because I tried to turn the Xbox on, it was saying it's not hooked up to the internet, you can't play. I went on and tried to hook up the Switch. Well, the Switch was already hooked up. I just had to plug up the HDMI cord into the Elgato, because I got that running through the TV in case I want to record something. But I had plugged that up, and brother, no online, no nothing. I was playing Mario Odyssey with no hiccups. It just started where I left off at. It didn't say you can't connect to the internet, the game is down, you're offline, none of that stuff. And it was awesome. I played Mario Odyssey for like almost 2 hours. Well, maybe not 2 hours, about an hour or so. And it was awesome. But, like you said, man, this tech is awesome. It's great. I mean, these new consoles are amazingly powerful, running games at 60 and 120 frames per second. For the first time on console, like I said, 120 frames per second. First time on a console. But when it comes to the internet or being hooked up online, man, these jokers just brick up, man. It's just a brick. So, yeah, it's pros and cons with it, brother. But this is unfortunately the day and age we live in, and I'm sure it's going to get worse. Can you imagine if all we had was streaming? God, dog, and your internet is down. I mean, man, that's even worse. I mean, it's kind of the same boat because you can't play either way, especially like yourself, Cody, if you're online and the games you play are online games. Yeah, you're up, like you said, you're up the paddle without a creek. Up the creek without a paddle. Golly. It's a, just an unfortunate situation, man. But to close out your email here, Cody, you said sort of shows a bigger flaw in the American infrastructure of roads, bridges, telecom, and utilities as a whole. I agree. Let's hope the next few years can get some of those issues. If not addressed, at least more exposed and started. Yeah, Cody, I definitely agree with that, brother. This is a fantastic email. Thank you, brother, for this one. And I believe we got one more here coming from you. And this is dated January 6th, man, the day right after my B-Day. Now, he says, new year, new fears. Okay. Once again, January 6th. He says, howdy, K. What's good? You also start your emails like that too, sometimes. He says, we got to put 2020 to bed with a lot of drama and angst and fear with some good and lots of, I don't know what that is, Cody, TLDR, I don't know. I'm going to just say 10 to 11 can, brother. He says, one of the lingering bad things besides a global pandemic hurting our planet and having Muppets upstairs. Having Muppets upstairs not willing to help the little people, I really was kind of sore and still am on how the current next gen rolled out. He says, I love my Xbox. I am happy I was able to get an S series and think it is a marked improvement in every way, save for the controllers randomly desyncing. I've heard of that for no reason on the X and S, but the total limited availability and the secondary gray market of total horrible people reselling at 30, 40, 200% markup and or selling scams really puts the hurt on how both Sony and Microsoft and the retailers they trusted to distribute their products have acted. Yeah, I agree with that too, because I was gonna put out a question, but I was like, maybe not. I was gonna ask you guys, is Microsoft and Sony to blame, for these shortages? And of course, you could say, yes, they are. But then I was looking at it from the perspective of these guys, these, as you said, Cody, scammers, or people that are trying to raise up the prices of the consoles 20, 40, 60, 200%. They were able to get these bots to go out there, get them in droves, to get these consoles in droves where most people were not able to get their hands on them. And as a result, should that fall on Microsoft and Sony for them not checking to make sure that Best Buy, Walmart, or Target have some kind of plans in place so that these things wouldn't happen. Now, I'm sure that Sony, they're looking at it, and Microsoft were both looking at it like, hey, we are selling stock, and that's all that matters. That's on those guys. We supplied what you were demanding. Now, what you do with it is up to you. But I still would like to know if that does fall on their shoulders. But yeah, the way it was handled, I agree, Cody. It was terrible. It was egregious, man, the way some of these guys were getting over on people with these with the secondhand market. But he says, to continue with your email, he says, okay, yes, and even though I have a huge enormous back catalog of stuff I can play, not having a couple of killer apps in my hand really did dull this event. Yeah, that was the thing. Xbox just didn't have that Miles Morales or that Demon Souls remake to really kind of punch, give a little bit of punch and a kick to the Series X. He says, I know there are a lot of games out there ranging from the race to the bottom of 0.99 cent garbage bag to whatever $120 poorly monetized AAA titles are out there. But I spent most of 2020 looking towards November, towards 2021, towards January 5th and 6th, and then January 20th. I have far sight exhaustion. Yeah, brother, I can see that. He says, now looking around me, I am feeling a bit empty. Then again, I was born in January. That's right. We share the same birth month. I knew I liked you for some reason, Cody. I knew it had to be something there. We in the same month, brother. Shout out to you. He says, I was born in January and really never liked the darn month. If I have to be, God dog, man, now that hurts, Cody. That just hurts, man. You don't even like January. I mean, it is cold. It's the middle of winter. You can't do too much for your birthday. I get it, but good grief. Let me just get back to your email. God dog, man. I thought we was rocking together, Cody. I thought we was riding, man. He says, That being said, I'm still going to also get an X series as soon as I find one. And I'm sure I'll play the heck out of Halo when it comes out, along with whatever other Game Pass games are out there. Because I have to admit, having a Netflix for games is sort of the biggest duh moment of this generation for gamers. Happy New Year, be safe and warm. Man, let me tell you, speaking of being warm, I was out there in Syracuse, New York. They got hit with a snowstorm maybe like 2 or so weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. And man, it was freezing up there, Cody. I'm talking, it was like 10 degrees outside. One of those days, it was cold as ever, man. Snow banks everywhere, 6 feet of snow. It was horrible, but I appreciated this, man. Thank you for this email, Cody. The launch wasn't great for the Series X, but they have some games coming out. Like you said, Game Pass, it's just a no-brainer. It's a duh moment of this generation of gamers. Halo is coming out. That's going to be one of the big ones. And we got a lot of great things to look forward to. And hopefully, 2021 will be much better than 2020 when we were in the pandemic. We're still in it, but hopefully as the year goes on, we will get out of it more and more. But let me go ahead and move on into the next email. Oh, that was your last one, Cody. I thought you had one more for me, but thank you, brother. Just continue to write in, man, and I'll continue to read them. Now we have... I told you, man, this is his show this week. We got 2 more from Mr. What's Up Said Tech, and he is going to take us out this week. Now, he sent this one on January 9th. He says, this was just sent. Golly, this was sent yesterday. He says, the title of his email is, Where is the Music? He says, hello, Kiaun. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you too, brother. He says, and all the fellow listeners, Happy New Year to you and all the fellow listeners. 2020 is gone. 2021 hopefully will be better for all. I couldn't agree more. I'm hoping so too. He says, I'm going to keep this short and stay on one subject. What you got for us? What's upset? He says, what has happened to the music in games? I can think back to the PlayStation 1 where the music was the thing I remembered most out of the experience of a game. Tenchu, Stealth Assassins, Final Fantasy VII, the Tekken says, he brought up Final Fantasy VII, my man. He says the Tekken series, you don't say, the Tekken series, what's up, said Tekken, you something else, man. No, the music was good in that though. The Tekken series, Panzer Dragoon 1 and 2, and a lot of Sega games, and there are a few more that I can't remember right now. When you heard the music, it would take me back to the moment when I was playing that game. I agree with that. He says games nowadays don't seem to grab me that same way, aside from State of Decay 2's soundtrack. Maybe it's just me, or have you and any of the listeners felt this way? Well, that's it for now. Please wash your hands, face, and butt, and please wear a mask. Still chilling. He's back at his beach house. God dog it. Still chilling in Florida. Peace. Now, brother, you told us you went back home, back to North Carolina, and then you went back this week, back to Florida, brother. Man, brother, matter of fact, brother, can I rent out the property for a weekend? I'm sticking with that, brother. This brother is in his summer home, his winter home in a warm climate. Man, this brother's something else. Now, let me tell you, man, this is one thing, one subset, I will say about the music is, I remember, Similar to Yourself is one game that stands out to, actually 2 that stand out. Similar to Yourself, Sega games that when I hear those, it takes me back to my age, the age that I was, the location of where I was playing the games, and just kind of some things that might have been going on at my life at the time. One of those games is Outrun. outrun the soundtrack to that game when you beat it and it had I think it was called the Sunset track or whatever. I probably had to play it on one of these episodes coming up. But that was when it took me back to a time when I was getting into girls and, trying to get phone numbers and stuff. I mean, I was probably about maybe, 12, 13 years old. I kind of started liking the girls, man, and, I would say Streets of Rage was another one. Streets of Rage, I remember just being outside and playing and going to the arcade up at Security Square Mall and just having a fun time. It's just something about those soundtracks that take me back, man, to a time. And I'll say, kind of to your point, I don't know if the music does that to me either now. And I think what it could be, one subset is back then, you remember you had they call it, the BG tracks or whatever, where you could go inside the game and you could play each music track that you wanted, like Shadow Dancer. That's another one that I used to just play the music of. And I just would sit there and enjoy the soundtracks. And now, today, the only way you can get a soundtrack is you got to get a special, one of the special bundles, the collector's edition or something like that, where they don't just readily make the music available for you to listen to, in the options menu. So I think that might have a lot to do with it. But once again, man, I agree. Those are some awesome times, man. Just being able to turn on the music and just sit there in your room and listen to it and outrun. That was just my joint, man. I absolutely loved that soundtrack. It was awesome. Matter of fact, Outrun, I don't know if I was into girls yet. I can't quite put that on it. But I remember during that time, just being outside playing freeze tag and just all of that stuff. It was just a fun time. The music, it takes me back to a really good time in my youth, man. So I definitely feel you on that. But I would love to hear from the listeners, like you were saying, one subset. Do you guys feel the same way, that the music just isn't hitting like it used to back in the day? And if it is, what are some of the soundtracks that you guys have enjoyed in recent years? But that was a really good question. One subset. I really liked that one, brother. And the last one we have here, once again, like I said, one subset, he taking us out this episode. The title, well, let me see, when did you write this one in? Oh, this was today. Oh, shucks. This was the 10th. Okay, January 10th. You wrote this one, and the title of this one is called Gaming Resolutions. He says, hello, Kiaun. It's a new year. I hope everyone embraced it in a positive way. I am doing my best. Definitely it's going to be positivity for 2021, brother. He says, I've decided to make a resolution this year to my backlog. I think I see where this going, man. He says it keeps getting bigger as the months go by. You are not by yourself. So by the end of this year, I will complete these games. Resident Evil, Code Veronica, get out of here. That game is awesome, man. That was one of my favorite games on the Dreamcast, by the way. Resident Evil 2 and 3, the remake. No, Resident Evil 2 and 3, the remake of Mass Effect. Oh, okay, Resident Evil 2 and 3, the remake, and Mass Effect Andromeda. Oh, and get a W against Sir William X. Shout out to that brother again. Yeah, you guys were playing, and hey, I give it the one subset. That brother said, look, he got the better of me in a couple times we played each other, but that's all right. I study, I learn, and I go back at it again. So I mean, he took his L, and I'm sure that one subset, he's busy working on his moves, and he's gonna get it together. Yes, indeed, man. So Sir William X, you better be on the lookout, my good brother. He says, I don't think it's an unreasonable of an resolution. It is a Wait. Let me try to read this again. He says, I don't think it's unreasonable of a resolution. It is a reachable goal. And I'm sorry, I'm butchering it right there, brother. I'm going to get through it, though. If there's time this year, I'll also finish Horizon Zero Dawn. Have you ever set a gaming goal or resolution? I'm just trying to thin out this backlog. Still in Sebring, where it's a bustling 64 degrees. Brr. As always, wash your face, hands, and butt, and please wear a mask. Till next time, peace. Yeah, man, I have never done that before. I think that is a fantastic resolution, though. It's fun. It's a great gaming resolution to get to your backlog, try to clean that out, to have specific games that you're going to beat before the end of the year. And I say, man, once I'm similar to yourself again, one subset. I got so many games in the wrapper that I have not gotten to yet. I mean, Final Fantasy VII, Detroit Become Human is still in the wrapper. Outside of me playing the demo of that for maybe an hour or so, I don't have any playtime in that. Well, Ghosts, I did open that up. That's amazing. But like I said, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, that's still in the wrapper. I got like 3 or 4 new games that I haven't opened up yet. So, yeah, my backlog is tragic, brother. It is terrible. So maybe I need to make some kind of resolutions too, gaming resolutions, to do some things like that. But as it stands at the moment, one subset, I have not done that. But I definitely commend your efforts on you wanting to do that, to get to your backlog and to kind of clean those things out so that you can start fresh, get those games off of the back burner, and continue to move forward. But one subset, you took us out this week, brother. Now, maybe I need to say this, man. Golly, I'm going to say this. And don't get mad at me, listeners, but I got maybe I need to put just a few things in place here. What's up, Seth? You my dude, man. And I appreciate you so much, man. I appreciate you taking, that's a lot of time, brother, to write those in. And, I greatly appreciate it. I truly, truly do, man. But maybe, listen, we're going to do this. It's 2021. It's a brand new year. So how about we set this in place? If you write in, just so I can get to everybody, because this episode is an hour, almost an hour, 41 minutes in, just to make it fair. Because, it could be more people writing in, to make it fair so everybody can, everybody's going to get a chance. I'm going to read everybody's email, but to try to shorten the length of the podcast and to have people come in here, how about we just say, look, write in, if you're going to write in, and trust me, I absolutely appreciate it when you guys take the time to write in, but write in no more than 2 emails during the course of the week. Write in 2 and we'll get to it. But outside of 2, we're going to have to roll it over to the next week. So just write in 2 times. I have no problem reading 2 emails from one person. But let's put that out there, and set that in place for 2021. But with that being said, once again, shout out to all of you good brothers that wrote in. It's truly, like I say every week, it truly is appreciated because you guys honestly do make the show. If you guys don't write in, there is no content, to go over. So I thank you guys so much for that. And, if you have made it to the end of this episode, man, hour and 42 minutes. Now, I know I have never recorded this long. This is a long one. This is a real long one for me. I think I was recording these length of podcasts maybe when I first started in the early days. I thought it had to be 2 hours, and I'm like, wait a minute. This is far too long. I was trying to be like other podcasts that have like 6 or 7 people on it, trying to get the length of it to be like 2 hours like this. And I was like, man, we ain't doing that. It's just me, myself, and I. I'm the only one. So, I'm like, nah, I can't have people just listening to me for that long. That's just going to be boring. If I got other people with me, maybe, I like to keep it to around an hour. I ain't even going to lie to y'all. But if you do want to be a part of the next listener feedback, you can do it 2 different ways. Either call in at 443-216-9934 and let your voice be heard. Or you can email the show, and the email address is the Analog Circle Podcast at gmail.com. This was the first episode of Listener Feedback for 2021, and my goodness, one subset, take it, brother. Man, you started us off with a super bang bang on this episode. I appreciate you, brother. I really do. I gotta have some fun with you, man. And hopefully you didn't take it, as me being serious with you. But I really do appreciate you writing in all of those times. Sir William X, thank you as well, brother, so much. Crimson Phoenix, I appreciate you as well. And the OG, who's been here for many, many years, Cody Clark, thank you so much for sending in your impressions of the Series S, and I look forward to hearing more of your impressions on other things too, brothers. So shout out to all of you good brothers, and that's gonna do it for this episode. But let me see, I'm recording this on Sunday, so this will be up Wednesday, which means I won't be recording another episode. Man, I'm gonna have to get everything back on track. Comcast really messed me up, so next week is probably gonna be I guess I'm going to have to record the regular podcast next week too. So that's going to be weird, but we're going to get it together, man. Anyway, when this goes up, just know that I recorded it on Sunday, and when I get it up is, whenever Comcast gets their people out here to do their job to get everything back online. But I'm out of here, people. I will talk to you guys next week.